Nicole Raymond, aka NikNak, is devoted to developing her unique practice as a DJ and turntablist, sound artist slash composer, producer, tutor, sound engineer, and radio presenter. She's also a strong advocate for diverse representation in the music industry, especially within DJ, turntablism, culture, and music production realms, and for musician well-being and mental health. Based in the UK, you'll find Nicole digging for vinyl or comic books, gigging, experimenting, and sharing her music taste to diverse audiences, delivering engaging sessions with students to develop their DJ skills, and running curating events such as Sirens and Melanin. I'm so excited to have you here today, Nicole. We improvised together last week at an event at Somerset House Studios, and we just literally met the day before and then did the gig alongside um, Robin, RKSS, Joe Nami, and Florian Wong, and that was curated by Paul Purgus and Vivian Griffin, and it was so much fun, and I got to know you kind of as a practitioner then, and I'm so excited to hear more about your practice from what I already know. And I know the students have also prepared some questions, so I'm gonna at some point after your talk hand over to them and let you chat to them. So thanks so much for being here. Oh, and I forgot to say, I've given Nicole full permission to swear, as it makes her feel much more comfortable, and I hope everyone in the room is okay with that. I'm sure.
Yeah, that was like one of, if not the first question I asked, like when you asked me to do this, like
whatever makes you feel comfortable, Nicole.
So yeah, hi everyone. So I should start with that really. Yeah, hi. Thank you, Annie, for the lovely intro and for inviting me to come through, like digitally. The beach is doing its thing behind me. It's nice to be here. So yeah, I've brought together some slides to go into my journey. And as Annie said in that introduction, I do a lot. So I'm going to try and cover those things in a bit more detail in this like first hour, I guess, or so, and then we'll have a break. How long is the break roughly?
We can take the temperature, but normally between 5 and 10 minutes. So it depends on how much time everyone needs.
Cool. Okay. Yeah, I almost certainly will swear. And if you're not comfortable with that, I'm sorry, and I'll try and edit myself as I go along at the same time. And I'm just going to go through these slides, but if you have questions about anything that I've like brought up or done or whatever, then we can have a chat about that in the Q&A. Yeah. All right. Okay, this is when I press a button and then things happen. So 2 seconds when I do the share screeny thingamabob. Can everyone see that? If you can put your, hands up, thumbs up, emoji, tapping. Yep. Lovely. Okay. Also, I took my bracelets off because that would be really, really noisy on my mic. Cool. So this is my face, and I'm from London originally. Grew up in North London. Then I did my undergrad at DMU in Leicester. I studied a course called Music Tech and Innovation, and essentially I just went into that course thinking, yeah, I want to be a producer, I want to make beats, I want to press all the buttons. Participants can now see you up. Okay. Yeah, I want to press all the buttons and do all of that kind of stuff, and kind of be behind the scenes and stuff like that. The course that I studied was called MTI, so Music Tech and Innovation. And when we walked in on the very first day, about over 10 years ago now, which makes me feel old, but whatever, over 10 years ago, walked in and we saw the course leader meditating like on the desk. So when you've come from an environment of like this is the compressor that you want to use, and like, you know, Timbaland uses this stuff, the Neptunes and Pharrell use this stuff, and you're trying to like find your own sound, and you've spent 2-3 years of college or even more than that to go into a space where there's like binaural meditation music, I guess, and like your course leader meditating on the first day was like, oh shit, what have we done? Swear word number one. What have we done? Oh God. But stuck it out, got my degree, and it was very formative for me, which I'll kind of go into a little bit later. So yeah, did my undergrad there, then spent a couple years gigging and DJing around that time too in Leicester. Then found myself wanting to be challenged more. So then I came up to Leeds, 5 years ago now, to study my master's. And that was in electronic and computer music. But I kind of wanted to focus on turntablism and DJing within that. So all of my work was kind of in that kind of realm. And then, yeah, did that. That was nice. And then kind of during my time in Leeds, like I'm based here now, my career has gone on to do mad stuff. I say my career like it's a separate person. You know, a lot of things have happened since me moving to Leeds, and, you know, both during my studies and afterwards. One of those things being me becoming an Oram Award winner last year, and I am the first Black turntablist to win that award. So, you know, mom was gassed. Mom still is gassed. And yeah, it's interesting being like, I made history. Wow, lol. With my short sweary self, but here we are. So that's like a really compressed version of my about me thing. But other things I've done, as she goes to her second slide, I've done a few residencies. So I've done how many have I done? I've done 2 with Brighter Sound, which are an organization based in Manchester, and they're all about, you know, getting more women, trans, non-binary people into the industry, particularly from the north of England. So I've done residencies that were like by them, but also run by people like Anna Meredith and Shiva Feshrecki, who is another turntablist. And yeah, just done stuff with them. I also did stuff abroad too. So I've done stuff in Crete and Portugal, recording sounds there to then later be manipulated on turntables as part of my master's. And yeah, a working holiday, you know, like I'm attracted to warm places, as you can see from behind me. So it was like, okay, cool. I can use the opportunity to not only get the natural vitamin D, because we don't get enough of it in this country, but also get material to really dive into my master's. So did that. I'm also on the University of Huddersfield's Sound Pioneers. That's interesting because basically it was an opportunity to do surround sound stuff. How can I word? Yeah, surround sound stuff on up to 66 speakers, I believe. And like, unfortunately, during that time, I was in hospital. So they've kind of carried on my place on there, and which reminds me, I need to nudge them with an email. So I'm kind of still on that. And then lastly, is, or more recently, I should say, is Opera North's resonance program. They do this every year. They did one last year, which was like the lockdown edition. But I'll go into that in a bit more detail. But that basically meant collaborating with a non-musical artist. In my case, it was with a multidisciplinary artist. I can never say that word, called Khadija Ibrahim. She's also based in Leeds. And yeah, we just collaborated and created a series of pieces which I'll play everybody in a little bit. Yes. I'm trying not to zoom through this really quickly, but at the same time I am. So let me know if I'm going too fast or too slow, because I know we'll have questions, but I want to make sure that what I'm saying is making sense. Cool. Right, most recent thing, and shout out to my good pal Sophie for taking these pictures for me. Well, this one in particular. Most recent thing I've done was be a part of another kind of funded residency type of thing, R&D, from Sound UK, and it was called Sound Generator. And I used that opportunity to create what's now become basically an album's worth of music, with field recordings, my own compositions and stuff like that, and then putting it on a 8-speaker setup, surround sound setup, and sort of triggering the music, the sounds that I want, moving them around the room while scratching. So it's a lot of like, I'm rubbing my stomach because the camera cuts off there, but it's a lot of that happening at the same time. And yeah, like to have a dedicated amount of time to just focus on this work and a budget too was really helpful, because I'd wanted to do something like this, and I'll show you some clips in a second. Wanted to do stuff like this for a while, since uni, really, because the only time I'd done really surround sound types of stuff was at uni, because the equipment's there and you can, you know, hire out a hall and be like, hi, can I just do some weird shit here? Yeah, sure. And then, you know, you can factor that into your work sort of thing, you know. So the main thing for me at this point, particularly with this, was like, well, I want to be able to do this outside of a uni space, because I feel like when certain events like a surround sound, immersive sound type of thing are going on, if it's not in an art gallery, chances are it will be at a university, and that draws a certain type of crowd. Whereas if it's in a venue that people know and, you know, respect, then that has more of like a mixed bag of people coming through. Hence why I was like, well, I want to do this outside of a uni space, and I'm very thankful that I've been able to do that. So the testing took place in a venue called in a venue in Leeds called Sheaf Street, because I was like, hey, can you do surround sound shit? They were like, yes. Okay, cool. So spent a couple weeks testing. This is me with my concentration face. And these are clips that I sneakily stole. Well, no, not I obtained from people's Instagram on the night of the performance, which was last month. I guess for future people watching this purpose, this is being done in October, me talking now, and then the performance of this work was in September 2021. Yeah, I'm talking to the future. So like, these visuals were also done specifically for this project by a good friend of mine called Sue. Originally, we were going to kind of do the visuals live and kind of have that conversation while the music is happening. So Sue would do live stuff. I would then kind of scratch in response to her visual magicry. But because of the timing and how life is currently, because it's still kind of weird, we weren't able to do as much practices in person. So instead, I kind of created the music, sent them to Sue. Sue then created these visuals, and we had that kind of back and forth over Google Drive. Shout out to Google Drive for not crashing and actually helping us do that. Sponsor me, goddammit. So this is one such clip, and I'm sure the sound will come through okay. If not, then I'll have a punch up with Zoom, but it should be all right. So are you gonna play, or do I need to present? Oh, maybe I need to present. Oh no, it's doing it. Could everyone here see that? Okay. Yeah. Cool. Here's another clip from the same night as well. I was worried I had to start presenting them, but it looks like I don't have to. So yay. Here's another clip. Mm. Yeah. So, like I said, those were taken on people's phones during the event. Sue did the visuals for it. Round of applause for Sue because she's incredible. And we're going to be doing more work. Yes, shouts. Yes, Sue. So we're going to do more stuff together. Now I mentioned, well, actually, yeah, me and Annie both mentioned how we both kind of met in person and how my first question was, can I swear? But like, if anyone didn't clock, what we did. So I have to say 2021 has been the year of the most random emails and the most random like people sliding into my DMs and some cool stuff happening because it's like, yo, yeah, I'll come through to Somerset House and do something. Yeah, sure. So shout out to Vivian for literally sliding into my DMs and asking me to come through and take part in this. So yeah, was it last week? Oh my god, time is flying mad quick. Jeez. Last week I bombed it down to London to rehearse with everybody, Annie included, hyped up on coffee, was buzzing like an absolute no, I'm not gonna say that, but I was kind of crazy, but hence my question, can I swear at your lecture? We had the rehearsal and then did this, and I'm here. I'm very small, but I'm here. Annie's here. And we performed at the St. Mary Le Strand Church. Which if there's anyone French in this chat, I'm really sorry. I butchered the name of that. I'm really sorry. And yeah, this is again another clip kind of borrowed strategically from somebody's Instagram. So there you go. It's very short. This is how Instagram decides to be. There was a lot of like intense looking at each other, like, is it me? Is it now? Now? Yes? Yes? Yeah, okay, cool. Like it was a lot of that going on while trying to be subtle about it, because it was like we're improvising, so we don't want to be like, hey, but just like, yes, and it's now. Okay. So there's a lot of that going on, but it was really good fun. And then a good friend of mine, shout out to Mal, she came through and she took this next clip of me and decided to zoom in while I was in super concentration mode and in my own world for like my little bit. So you'll see what I mean, because I'm rocking around like I don't even know what, but yeah, when it decides to play, there we go. Yeah. And I'm not gonna lie, that was a good opportunity for me to play some stupidly bassy music in there. So I was like, right, let's go, let's do this. So there is that. Okay. Oh god, I got too excited. This is where I go to YouTube, because I reminded myself to do that because I'm hella smart like that. So what? Last year, I don't know if anyone kind of saw this series going on, but there's a series of like tests, quote unquote, with like artists and DJs and stuff, called Blind Test 2000. Well, Blind Test, and I got again a random message, and someone was like, "Yo, do you want to do this like test thing?" I was like, "Yeah, sure, cool, that's fine." So I think they're based in Berlin, and we had a conversation, and then essentially they play the music. You have to guess what the song is, and you're not told who else was on it. So I'm taking part, like, oh yeah, cool, this is fine, this is fun. And then lo and behold, when they post about it, I was like, well, I'll tell you in a second, but I'm on this with these people. And if you're a dubstep head, which I feel like I kind of am, I'm still learning the older stuff too, as well as the new stuff. But like, to be included with this group of people was mad. So I'm going to just play you like a little bit of this clip, because I had no idea going into this. I had no idea.
Nice. Classic.
Absolute killer.
Easy one.
I fell in love with dubstep listening to this song, probably.
2005 or 2006?
I haven't listened to this for quite a while, actually. It's nice to hear it.
I'm really bad with names. I know who this is.
Scream. Scream.
That's Scream.
Of course.
Midnight
Request line.
Midnight Request Line, Scream.
Temper.
For sure.
So like, legit, to be on this video with, I'm gonna do it, with fucking Mala and Casper and Joker and Martin Fifth. When I tell you, like, when they announced that the video was done and they tagged me with these people, I was like, are you absolutely, I'm spent. I can't believe this. But this happened during lockdown. So like, yeah, like I say, we jumped on a Zoom call, did the thing. Obviously they edit it and put it together. And then, yeah, they tagged me, I don't know, maybe a couple of weeks later to say, yo, this video's up and here are the people that took part. And there's me being tagged in the same thing as Mala, like, wait. But yeah, that happened. And I'm very grateful. So yeah, that was a madness. But yeah, this is on YouTube, like I say. So if you want to find out how I did and play along as well, then yeah, just go for it. It's from Telecom Electronic Beats. So yeah, they've got other ones as well. Like there's a jungle one here. They're just, yeah, there's loads. So yeah, that was nice doing that. Okay, and then so more into stuff that I've done. I've played at a whole bunch of festivals. Wilderness, Handmade, Chin Up, We Out Here, played there this year as well. Played Shambino with a band that I'm in, which I'll talk about in a second. Alga Rave, Leeds Digital Festival, Bradford Literature Festival, Marsden as well. I played there again this year too. Tour Fest, all kinds of places and stuff, which is very, very nice. It's very nice. And I've also supported all of these people and more. Yeah, and more, to be honest, but that's a nice snapshot of the amount of people I've been really happy and proud to support. And the list is growing. I will be doing a gig next month, November 13th. This is kind of a plug, I guess, but also not, because you are the master of your own destiny. I can't tell you what to do, but I'm playing with Mr. Scruff, and we're doing a back-to-back essentially all night, and it's up in Leeds. So do with that information what you will. But yeah, I've supported some incredible people, and I'm very, 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 very grateful and honored to have done so. And a lot of these people are really lovely too, which even makes it even better. Like, oh, you're not an arsehole. Great. Yes. So it's great. And I'm sure I'll probably get some questions about these people too, but yeah, good times. So I am also a radio presenter. I don't know why I'm sighing like that. It makes it look like I don't enjoy it. I do enjoy it. I just do a lot. So I've presented on these stations. Demon FM is De Montfort University's own kind of station. I was on there for a bit. Sable Radio is based in Leeds. Was Kmart, which no longer is here, but there's also Alto Radio now. The most regular one that I do now, excuse me, is Worldwide FM. I present there every month with a show called Melanin, which is all about Black music, irrespective of genre. Because I feel like, a lot of people assume that Black music is maybe 4 or 5 genres, but it's so much more than that. And in the space of 2 hours every month, I try to, shout out new artists as well as play stuff that I've personally connected with, and kind of just help to kind of show the wideness of Black music, because I think, people tend to stereotype or pigeonhole us, and that pisses me off. So I'm like, nah, not having that. I'm going to play a whole bunch of stuff in 2 hours, as much as I can cram into 2 hours. And I've had guest DJs come on and do mixes and play stuff as well that represents them too. So yeah, where is that? Okay, other projects, and I've just realized I don't. Oh wait, hang on. No, yeah, okay. Other projects. So I am on SoundCloud. Here is me going onto my SoundCloud. I do bits, like I say. I've made stuff. I remixed Hiatus Coyote's Get Sun. They had a remix competition a little while ago, and I entered. And just because it's Hiatus, like, yo, I can mess about with Napalm's vocals. Are you mad? So I did that. And then I've also kind of released an album called Bashi, and I've got a few tracks on there. And I used to make kind of hip hoppy stuff too. That doesn't mean that I don't still play it or create it. It's just right now my head is in the more ambient, weird and wonderful space. But that doesn't mean to say that I won't go back to making hip hoppy stuff in the future, because I don't know, maybe. But I'll play you just how kind of varied the stuff really quickly. I'll play you like examples of how varied my stuff is, because it is quite varied. So I'll play you a bit of this remix first. I'll skip ahead a little bit. So that's bassier thing. But then off of my album, I do weird shit like this. And so for context with Compass and my album Bashi, in 2019, I took myself to, you have a like on, whoever that was, thank you. I don't know if that was somebody in this, but I just got a notification saying someone liked the Get Sun remix. Thank you. If that was you in here, big ups, I appreciate that. So with Bashi, in 2019, I took myself to Turkey and recorded the sounds while I was there. I think a few months later, I did a performance at the Brudenell, which is a venue in Leeds, where I just improvised scratching with those sounds, added like filters and effects and did all of this stuff in like maybe an hour or so performance, and then cut the performance into tracks and put it out as an album. And yeah, the response from that has been incredible. Like it's had plays on BBC Radio 3, Worldwide FM, Threads Radio. And it's been like featured in like magazines here and in the US, which is like, who the hell is listening to my shit in the US? But you know what? Big ups, thank you. Again, it's like me just like, I just make weird shit, but here we are, people are liking it. So thanks. So like, that's the kind of space where I'm in now in terms of like the kind of stuff I make. But then, 4 years ago, oh God, yeah, geez. 4 years ago, I was making stuff, back when you could get an a cappella fairly easily. I was making stuff like this.
You grew high, taller than the middle class. Boy, cash running in your pockets. You skate high, gold on your fingertips. They try to make people nervous. There's something missing in your smile, something missing in your soul. There's something missing in your smile. Tell me why, tell me when, tell me why, when. Anything you wanna come boy, what a plan, set your hand, look to me. Everything you wanna come
as an example. So I'm varied, man. I got range. And I've done DJ mixes, like this is a dubstep one I did on Swoo, which is a Bristol based one, radio station. I've done stuff on NAR Radio, on Refuge Worldwide, which are based in Berlin. And this track of mine, which is actually a very old, but I remixed it for real long overdub. This was featured in Mixmag, which is very lovely. And it's like, oh man, people are hearing stuff that's really old. But how am I doing for time? Because maybe I could play a little bit of this as well. Is that all right? Okay, cool. I'll play a little bit of this and then I'll go back to my slides. Yeah. So yeah. So yeah, I've done loads of stuff basically. Oh, and one of the pieces that I was telling you about when I was talking about Opera North, or one of the pieces. Oh no, that's not what I wanted to do. Go here. You doing it? Yes, you're doing it. So the resonance program that I was talking about when I was working with Khadija, as it says here, basically Khadija did a residency, or she did a residency in Jamaica and had loads of conversations with people around rituals surrounding death and burial, and why hasn't those traditions kind of stayed in the community. And she had these incredible recordings, and she only gave me a snippet of some of the recordings that she had, and I essentially reworked them into these four pieces. It's also become a podcast, but yeah, this will give you a quick idea. Oh, it doesn't tell you how long these are. This will give you an idea of like what we did.
Cannot discount the enormity of possession in Caribbean ritual. That's just how it goes. In African ritual and in rituals in of the old world that find themselves in the Caribbean. And then he says language, how language affects meaning.
So that gives you a really small idea of the kind of stuff that we did together in that kind of way. But yeah, this is my SoundCloud. Yeah. So, which, you know, can get into that in more detail. How am I doing for time? I'll probably shut up real soon. Yeah, cool. So another project that I'm in is called TC and the Groove Family. This is us. So a little bit of a backstory. This guy here, Tim, is the drummer. He basically enlisted, frankly, too many people, way too many people, to come through for his recital at Leeds College of Music, what's now called Leeds Conservatoire, and was like, oh, let's just get together and do stuff. I was like, all right, cool. So we kind of came together, practiced some tunes, and he asked me to join, and I was like, I don't know, man, I've never played in a band before, like, what do you want me to do? And he's like, just do what you do, like scratch and that. It's like, what? Okay, what? All right, so we did the recital, went really well, the vibe was there, and we kind of just developed from there, really. You know, we've played at Shambino, we've played with people like Yusuf Days, oh God, who else have we supported? Oh God. See, this is where my memory shuts down. Basically, we're out here doing bits, isn't it? And there's like, what, 10 of us? So getting us all in a room to rehearse can be a bit crazy. But having said that, the music that we make is really, really special. And I'm really thankful to have had the opportunity to just like, you know, be a part of a band, because I've never really thought about that really, and feeling confident enough to even do backing vocals sometimes. It's like, oh, okay, this is nice. maybe later on I'll play like one of our tunes, but yeah, you know, I'm really thankful to be a part of that project. And it's nice because like I can't read music. I have dyslexia, so for me, seeing like a, you know, sheet music, manuscript, whatever, the notation moves around on the paper, so I find it really hard to like be able to read. But so whenever they're like, oh yeah, this chord is like a G minor seventh and all this, I'm like, cool, yeah, I don't, whatever. But I'm able to kind of come at it from a producer's perspective and say like, you know, this groove needs to kind of go into this kind of direction potentially, or like, you know, when it comes to us like mixing or mastering our music, I'm able to kind of say, well, you know, you might want to do it this way or whatever. I'm able to kind of facilitate that role in-house. So that's nice to be able to put kind of my expertise in that kind of a way with this. But yeah, you know what, if you'd like me to play some of our stuff, I will do that later on. Yeah, that's a reminder for me the next time I do one of these to be like, put a link to one of the things that we do. So I'll do that. So that's fun. And then I have been in the Belgrave House Band, which is another Leeds kind of based outfit where we do covers of albums. Most recently, because I kind of missed this one out, most recently they did covers of is it Fleetwood Mac's album, what's the one, Rumours? They did a cover of that and toured it around like around Yorkshire basically, and I think they're trying to do some more. I wasn't in that because, if I'm honest with you, I don't know Fleetwood Mac. Shock, horror, oh my god. I don't know Fleetwood Mac well enough to be able to like be a part of this, and I felt it would be dishonest for me to just be like, yeah, let's jump on, I'll do something on the turntables, and when I don't know their music well enough to do that. So I gave it a miss. But from these two pictures, these were from, so I've been in every one up until this recent kind of rendition. So we've done The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill, Erykah Badu's Barduism, The Love Below by Outkast, Amy Winehouse's Frank, and we've done Destiny's Child's The Writings on the Wall. Somebody's not muted. So okay, so yeah, we've done those, and they've been a lot of fun. Again, like using turntables in these aspects, in these kinds of ways, and you know, doing backing singing at the same time sometimes, which is again a lot of that, has been really fun. And yeah, like I say, I never ever saw myself being a part of a band with my decks, so let alone two. So the fact that this has happened is, you know, really, really lovely. And yeah, it's been great fun being a part of the crew and doing these bits. Currently, I'm on Zoom talking. No. Currently, what's happening currently? Currently, I've been doing quite a lot of theatre sound stuff, so composing for some theatre shows. I've kind of assisted on a production of Dracula, which I think is on tour now, but that was primarily at Leeds Playhouse. And I've also done some music for a production company called Tutti Frutti, where essentially it was like digital storytelling of children's books, and you know, helping to musically illustrate the readings for those books. So I've done that, and I've got things coming up in November, which besides that Mr. Scruff gig, which is going to be very interesting, and I'm very excited to announce, but I can't do that just yet because it's like my hands are tied a little bit. But yeah, that's kind of me at the moment, unless I've forgotten something, which I don't think I have. But yeah, that I guess concludes me saying all of the words and such, and swearing a little bit, not as much as I thought I would. So maybe in the questions I might swear more. But yeah, I'm glad I could provide some hilarity to you. But yeah, that's me. I will stop sharing now, All right. Yes. And I will hand you back to Annie, who will say a whole load of words as well.
Thank you so much, Nicole. I was chuckling a lot at your jokes throughout that. I kept myself muted though, but maybe you could see me having a giggle.
Yeah, I can see you. That was cool. I'm glad I could facilitate such hilarity. Like I said, yay.
Okay, great. Well, we've got loads of time for questions, and maybe you can also play a few more clips of stuff in the second section.
Yeah, sure.
So I propose we maybe take a break. Let's give a generous 5 minutes. Let's come back at 3:30, so a half past the hour, and then we've got a good hour for the student questions. I think there's quite a lot. I think there's quite a big group of students this week, and I'm sure that's going to spin off into further discussion. So
Yeah, cool.
yeah, okay. So let's meet back here at 3:30. Have a good break, everyone. Hi everyone. I hope you all had a good break. So what we normally do is we start with the students who have prepared questions, and then we open it up to wider audience questions in case any of our guests also want to ask a question. So can I ask those in the Q&A group this week to put their hands up, and then I think I can make you, oh no, hang on, thank you. Do I have the, maybe Michael might have to make you co-hosts. Can you do that? Cheers, thanks. I know there's quite a few of you in the group, so maybe you're not all going to be asking the questions, but who did I have down? Jake, Maria, Rose, Ebony, Bohang, Ben, Fikrat, Hanifa, and Juice. So hopefully we've got loads of time, so I think we'll try and get through all your questions, and if not, then maybe we can open up to audience questions anyway, so that people have a chance. Fantastic. Okay, so who's going first? Go ahead, Hanifa. Yeah, and if you feel comfortable, turn on your camera, but you don't have to.
I'm not turning on my camera.
No worries.
Hi, so me and the rest of the people in the group, especially Juice, we made a PowerPoint of the questions. So if I can bring that up, if that's all right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow, PowerPoint of questions. Oh gosh. Okay.
I know. So yeah. Okay. So I'll put this on present.
Oh my god, it's actually sorry.
Yeah. So firstly, we have question 1. In both projects, Dead and Wake and The Voice of Black Britain, what inspired you to transform audio through collage, reverb, delay, and scratching? From your perspective, why did you build your broadcast in a narrative and illustration way? Was the audience of age group or the experience of working as a DJ influencing you on you the most?
Man, that is a question. Okay. I mean, well, okay. Firstly, the fact that you made a PowerPoint is a madness. Thank you.
It goes out to Juice. She did most of the work.
Hey, shout out to Juice. Thank you. Wow. Okay, I'm gonna like take this into chunks. So with the Voices of Black Britain, which big ups, doing your homework. Nice. Yeah, you're welcome, Juice. Big ups. So okay, with the Voices of Black Britain, that was more kind of following a brief of what Aisha wanted for that kind of podcast documentary series. So with that, I didn't scratch. It was more like creating an immersive world with the audio that Aisha sent me and being respectful of that, and also creating the music and things behind that too, and like editing it all together. I do have a podcast as well called The Narrative, which you probably have a question on, but I'll talk about that in a second. But so that was kind of different to Dead and Wake, where I had full control over the sounds that Khadija had sent me. What inspired me to transform audios through collage, delay, and reverb? So more so with Dead and Wake, because I barely touched Voices of Black Britain. I barely touched that scratching wise, but more so with Dead and Wake, because the material, I'm Jamaican, so listening to that material that Khadija has sent me really resonated with me personally, not only as a dark-skinned Black woman as she is, but also because as somebody with a Jamaican heritage. So it was important for me because I feel like, you know, obviously dub reggae, even obviously later on dubstep, all of that came from the island. So being able to kind of tap into that and really use that in a creative way to tell a story with those audio clips, and again being respectful of that, because it was like I could go in and, I don't know, really mess about with the audio to the point where you don't know what's being said anymore, or you don't know what's going on. But because the material that she sent me was really educational for me as well, it was like, nah, I'm not gonna just completely like transform everything. I'm gonna take these bits as if they are on vinyl, which through the software that I use, Serato, they can be, which is magic. But I can kind of, you know, play with these sounds as though they are on vinyl and use the delay, use the reverb to help emphasize certain points of those samples, to really go in with it and really make people sit down and pay attention to what's being said. So even in the clip that I played earlier with the girl singing, it was like, I want to just take that moment and let that rest, let the delay and the reverb rest, and then come back again and do it. Khadija was like, oh yeah, you're doing like a wheel up and come back again thing, like, you know, what dub reggae, you know, sound systems DJs would do, like wheel it up and then pull it back. So I was kind of inadvertently doing that, but it was interesting how she spotted that, because I was like, nah, I'm playing with this reverb and the delay to create something, but like it's not forced, it's just happening. Yeah, I hope that answers that part of the question. From your perspective, why did you build your broadcast in a narrative and illustration way? Was that the audience of the age group or experience? I guess more working as a DJ. So for both of those projects, there wasn't really like a set age group, if you know what I mean. There wasn't like a set, like this will be for this age group. There was nothing like that said. So I guess because of that, it meant that I was, you know, primarily using my experience as a DJ to do that. Having said that though, I wouldn't say that it was like strictly that and only that. Like I take inspiration from a lot of different places, outside of music, inside of music, around music. So it just kind of came, I was able to put myself in a headspace that was relevant to those projects. So with Voices of Black Britain, that was more me being like, okay, I'm going to make the music, I'm going to edit this, I'm going to, you know, mix and master it to put this together for Aisha because she wants this for her brief for her project. Cool. For Dead and Wake, I've got more creative control. So yes, to doing all of those things, but also I can manipulate the sound how I want. And I'm going to as well have a chat with Khadija as much as possible to make sure that she's happy with what I'm doing. And she was like more than happy with what I did. So yeah, there wasn't really like a set, like I'm just kind of like, I'm creating this and I'm, you know, doing this with this material to create these things. Does that answer your really your thick with 2 C's question? Does that answer?
I don't know. I feel like someone else in this group wrote the really thick questions. My questions are more funny, but
That's
yeah,
fine.
I'm sure whoever got this is taking some furious notes.
Okay.
Okay. Do you want me to say it or should I just leave it up? I don't know. So
That's okay. I can, you know, whatever you're comfortable with.
yeah. I'll just leave it up to
It
you.
would be good if someone could read it out. For
Okay,
I'm
I'll read
happy.
it out then.
Just in
Yeah.
case
Okay.
someone can't see the screen or something.
Yeah.
All right, that's
Cool.
cool. In the album Bashi, why did you use the theme of peace to complete your work? Did you think about the theme before recording, or did you start recording before thinking about the theme? In addition, which kind of music do you think will become more and more popular in the future?
Another thick with two C's question. So with Bashi, the theme of peace came afterwards. So like I said, the sounds that I used to create it were all recorded in Turkey. And at the time, while I was there, I needed that moment of escapism because everything was getting a bit heavy and my brain was quite foggy. So it was like, I need to kind of just, you know, physically remove myself from the UK for a couple of days to get rid of that fogginess. And my gut was like, bring your microphone with you. I was like, all right, bring it. And yeah, while I was there, it was just calm, like the fogginess went. And, you know, listening back to me later on, kind of manipulating these sounds like in that performance, which led to Bashi kind of being created. It was interesting in that, like, when I was performing the material, everyone was silent and no one knew that I'd finished performing until I'd physically stepped away from the turntables. And yeah, that in itself was like, yeah, I've finished, guys. Like, I'm done. And yeah, round of applause and everything else. So it was quite interesting. But like the piece that I'd gotten from being in Turkey at that time, especially, you know, going there with a foggy head, leaving there without a foggy head, was really important. Yeah, there's a dog chatting rubbish outside my house. Sorry. Hopefully you can't hear it, but it's pissing me off. Anyway, I'm gonna shut my window in a second. Yeah, so the theme of peace came later on, but you know, like when it came to like editing that performance down into the tracks, it was like, no, this is making me like think of my time in Turkey again and reminding me of the peace that I experienced while I was there. So yeah, it kind of came about after the fact, me realizing that the theme is peace. In addition, which kind of music do you think will become more and more popular in the future? Jeez, Juice, if you wrote this one again, raw. I think what I would want to happen is Black music being more recognized and not being so kind of stereotypical in the kind of quote unquote urban moniker. Like I want more, you know, people making weird and wonderful things who look like me to be recognized for their work. There's, you know, I don't like how very little, Bohang wrote this question. Shout out to Bohang, big ups. I don't like how very little coverage artists in the kind of electronic or experimental world who are Black and brown are getting in comparison to people who are making the more mainstream stuff. And it's like, you should be celebrated for your work regardless. Like, you're a musician, you're doing dope stuff, let's celebrate that, you know. This which is why Melanin is my radio show like happens, because it's like, well, I'm going to celebrate you because for some reason it's not happening as much as it should be. Like the last time, was it in the Mobos, the last time somebody won like a best electronic music thing was like over 10 years ago. Yeah, over 10 years ago, and it was Goldie that won. And it's like, look at how much like Black electronic music has come out since then, and yet we haven't celebrated that. And that's just one example. But and then you've also got people like Nova Twins who are calling out the Mobos and being like, hey, why isn't there a rock? So you're welcome, Bohang. Why isn't there a rock category? Why isn't, do you see what I mean? And they've got artists like Anne's in Manchester, there's Lorraine James. Like, where's their recognition? like they're smashing it regardless, but where's their recognition? It's things like that. So I'm hoping that there'll be a leveling out of appreciation across all genres. So yeah, I hope that answers that. But big ups, Berhang.
Big ups. So next question is, how do you pick the tracks that go into your mixes? What's the process? Are you looking for a specific sonic palette, or are you more interested in the origin and the context of the track and the artist?
Ooh. Who did this question?
I don't know, someone claim it now.
Maria, big ups. How do I pick? So I in all honesty, all of my mixes, my DJ sets are improvised. Like it's only when it's radio that I think more about is there a theme? You know, if say a prominent person has passed away, how do I, you know, represent them? You know, if they've resonated with me in some way, whether that's like childhood or whatever, how do I respectfully pay tribute to them in my show and all of this stuff? There's more that kind of thinking goes more into like the radio side of things. But in general, when I'm like just doing a set, I don't like plan my set. So, you know, I've supported a lot of people, and it's like, okay, the theme is, let's say with Grandmaster Flash, it was like, okay, breaks and hip hop and stuff. So I kind of go into that gig with that headspace of, okay, I'm going to be playing breaks and hip hop before he then delivers a history lesson in hip hop, and then we're going to go into it that way. When it's like a drum and bass set, it's like, well, what are my favorite tracks? What do I love to play and love to listen to? Whether that's like brand new or an older tune, and go from it like that. Same thing with dubstep. If I've got an open, you know, I'm playing for, I don't know, 3-6 hours, and I can play whatever I want, then I'll play whatever I want. I'll kind of understand through getting to the place and being like, oh, okay, so this is the kind of vibe, or, you know, I'm playing from, say, I don't know, 6 p.m. until midnight. Oh, okay, so that means it's kind of like a nice build, you know. So it's kind of there's many parameters that go into it. I've tried to like be really like, I'm starting with this song and I'm going to go into this one and this one, and I've tried to do a mix like that, and I haven't had as much fun. And it's like, there are friends of mine who are so strict with it, and it's like, fair enough, like that brings you comfort. I can't do that. Like, it's just, I find that really difficult. I feel like my ADHD just kicks in, like, nope, we're not doing that. So I very much just kind of, you know, feed off of the vibe of the place, and, you know, how long is my set, and blah blah blah. And, you know, if somebody's like, oh, you know, you're going to play quite a chilled, we need something that's quite chilled, and, you know, it's like, oh, okay, cool, I can do that. And that adds to my versatility. So yeah, I wouldn't say there's like specific, to borrow a phrase from the question, sonic palette. I wouldn't say there is that kind of going on consciously. I guess subconsciously that happens. But like when it comes to like the origin, the context, that's more for like radio, because then I can kind of say, you know, this song was released in 1978 and was, you know, I can talk about those things there. But, you know, that doesn't mean that the sonic palette isn't happening when I DJ either. That's probably more subconscious.
Cool. So can't remember who asked this one, but do you have a favorite hidden gem record that you found while crate digging? What's your favorite genre to search through?
Hidden gem record. Ooh. I think oh man, I'd have to like go back through my question. Yeah, claim this question, whoever wrote it. I'll shout you out. I'd have to go through my record collection, to be honest with you. Ben, big ups, man. Hidden gem record. I think it might have to be oh god, now I need to remember there's a producer called Klaus. And I have to say this is like online crate digging, not being in the record shop. I'd have to like go through my records again and have a look and be like, oh yeah, this was the one I got in the shop, and like it blew my mind. But what comes to mind now was finding Klaus, and there's a track called Tusk. And I was like, I just want something that's minimal, but you can still dance to, and and I was still like, you know, just figuring things out in terms of like, you know, the newer deep dubstep type of stuff. And I stumbled across Klaus and was like, yo, yes, this is sick. And like snapped that up immediately. I think I got that off of Discogs or somewhere. Discogs is a dangerous place. Okay. All right. Favorite genre to search through. You know what? I really love, and I'm probably not the only person, or most likely not the only person. I really love when you hear like a tune that came out, like, I don't know, a fairly recent tune, let's say, that's obviously been sampled, and then you're like, yo, I mean, yeah, that tune sounds great, you know, that's, you know, whoever flipped it and did this with it, great, what's the original though? And then like finding the original and going through that artist's back catalog, I love that. Recent example, what's the recent example? So there's a track by Usher called Good Kisser, which came out in like 2014. I don't know how I managed to miss it or something like that, but I was like, oh, okay, this is quite funky. Yeah, it's a simple loop or whatever. But then I found the person that he sampled for that track, and going through that back catalog, I was like, yo, there's so many gems. It's just amazing. And I was just like, right, get. So yeah, I'd say I don't have a favorite genre to search through, because I guess it depends like on, you know, a track or an artist or a producer like exciting me that much to then go back and find like earlier stuff. So I wouldn't say it's like favorite genre, because it depends. But yeah, that moment where it's like, yo, yeah, that's nice. Thank you for your question, Ben. Yes.
What do you think is the importance of shows like Melanin and the narrative in Britain, and what is the process of creating shows like these?
Who asked this?
I don't know, someone claim it.
Claim the ting before I answer. Claim the ting. It's your time, man. It's your time. Ian Sean, did I say that right? If I didn't, Inshin. Yeah. Okay. I mean, you're asking if it was you. Well, shout out to Inshin. The importance of shows, I think, is very important. So the narrative is a podcast I made where I have open conversations with Black non-male creatives about whatever, and the only kind of running theme is the question, what is your narrative? And then, you know, my guest will answer that question, and then we go into it, and we just have a chat. I think the importance is that, like, being black British, especially as someone non-male, there are so many like different aspects to it that aren't covered in like the mainstream. There's so many things that people don't really talk about, or they try to make an assumption of your life based on stereotypical things that people have seen in the media and like on the news or whatever. They just make assumptions of stuff. So with these shows, I do my best to try and show, you know, the nuances of being Black and being British and living in this country, because it's a lot, man. The frustration is real. So, you know, trying to just be like, you know, so for example, with the Channel 4, what's it, Black to Front day that they did, cool, yeah, but you know, you have all of this talent, why aren't they on TV more often anyway? Just saying. And from what I saw, it was a type of Black British person on there throughout the day because it's accessible to people, or it's what people know. So what about people who are into comic books or into anime, or like, you know, listen to rock music, who are punks, who are this, that? So what about them? So you see what I'm saying? So it's kind of like, right, well, where are these spaces then? Because I mean, you're quick to put people on channel, and I'm not dissing Channel 4. I'm not saying, you know, boo. It's just like, good, but do better, because you know, you're still showing a certain kind of Black person, whereas there is many different types of us. So, you know, so there is that. The process of creating shows like these, it's a lot of time, cups of tea. I use a DAW called Logic. I'm getting my head around Ableton, but I'm using Logic primarily, and essentially it's just like building the show in there. Sometimes it's me DJing for an hour and recording it into Logic. Sometimes it's me just choosing songs, putting them into Logic and moving them around, and recording myself talking in between the track, like a radio show for in particular for Melanin, or for any other show that I do radio wise. With the narrative, it's essentially, having, you know, asking people if they want to come on, giving them context to what it is, just being like, you know, is this cool? And, you know, you can swear, shout out to Annie. You know, you can swear on my show, so come through if you want to do that. And we'll arrange a time to have a chat. It's been on Zoom because I started the podcast during lockdown because I had all the time in the world. So, you know, having that chat, recording it, and then editing it down to say an hour and a half. And then sending the edited version to the guests to make sure that they're cool with it, if there's anything that they want taken out. So I've got time to edit it. And then popping it onto Spotify, or, you know, there's a platform called Anchor where they can put your podcast wherever. And then, then saying to people, hey, I did a thing, come and listen if you would like. And, you know, that kind of stuff. That's the process. Thank you for your question.
I think this is, this is mine. Oh no. Okay.
What do you mean? Oh no, what do you mean? Come on.
Honestly, I wrote this and I was like, I don't even think I could answer this, to be honest. In Vashi, you use sounds recorded in Turkey. Was there any reason as to why there, and did you have any expectations beforehand? And you kind of answered that already, to be honest. But yeah, if you wanted to add.
Yeah, so firstly, big ups, Hanifa. Shout out to you. Reason why I was there, like I said, my brain was foggy. I live with, I don't like to say suffer because that makes it sound more intense than it is, because luckily it's calmed down over the years, but I live with anxiety and depression. And, you know, certain times it's better, sometimes it's not. At this point in time, it wasn't great. So I took myself to Turkey, and, you know, the question asked before about, you know, finding peace, that was where I found it. I didn't have any expectations before going. I literally was like, I need to just, sorry again, F-bomb, I really need to fucking get out of this country and just chill for a sec. So there was no expectations, but my gut told me to bring my microphone, and then Bashi came into existence. Being an advocate for mental health and well-being in music, have you discovered new meaning to your music, and do you think more people should view it like that? What mic did I took a Zoom, is it M2? It's a portable Zoom, Derek, I took with me there. Really great mic. Zoom also need to sponsor me now. Well, actually, yeah, they do. Holler at your girl. Zoom, yeah, really good mic. The H2, sorry, not the M2, H2. It was like 120 quid. So yeah, do that. Thank you for your question, Derek. I feel like with mental health and well-being side of things, it's like, you know, people have been in contact with me about Bashi and have said, you know, this album really calms them down or helps them focus and things like that. And it's like, thank you, you know, like this is my first like official release and it's on Spotify and all these things. But like, you know, the fact that people have felt the need to listen to it, let alone get in touch with me to say, you know, I've listened to this and it's incredible, and you know, all of these really lovely, big, kind words really means a lot. And I think, you know, people can view the music that I make however they want to view it. It's very much like, you know, it became, it's still a very personal project because of the fact that it's my debut album and all of these things, but like, you know, people can view it how they want to view it. I don't want to say that like I make spiritual music or I make stuff like that. It's like, you know, I make stuff. And if you connect with it in whatever way that is, because I can't tell you how to connect with it. If you connect with it, great. You know what? I appreciate that. That means something has happened for you to think, yo, I needed this or whatever. Like, you know, you've connected with it in some way. Amazing. Thank you. I'm not about to tell you what to do, you know, as much as people are like, yeah, man, you know, I've got my album and whatever, like come through and support and everything else. It's like, to a point, yeah, but also I'm not here to tell you what to do with your life. So I think it's just, you know, if you've connected with it in some way and it's led you to contacting me or, you know, buying the album or whatever, then thank you. It's just, I don't know, it was a experiment that has catapulted me into certain spaces and I'm very grateful for it. So yeah, it's however you want to view it, but I would hope that people, you know, are, you know, connecting with it and it makes them feel better, or it takes them out of where they are when they're listening to it and it's, you know, takes you somewhere else, because yeah, that's nice.
Yeah, I asked that question after I listened to one of the songs on Bashi, and I was like, I've been to Turkey. It kind of does sound like there. And then I was like, and then I was just kind of like, yeah, because mental health is like a really big thing. So especially like personally and all around. So after listening to that, I did kind of understand that sort of sentiment of peace and calminess, but also it kind of threw me back to when I was there. So it was interesting. Yeah.
Cool.
This is another one for me. Being a self-proclaimed nerd, what are some of your biggest inspirations and interests, and what would you like to see in the future of turntablism?
Yes, nerd girl. Big ups again, Hannah, for smashing it. Biggest inspiration. Jeez. I love comic books. I grew up collecting them. I've got like I'm literally looking at them now. I've got maybe over 300. Yeah, over 300 comic books. Because I'm like that, yo. And I'd say like nerd wise, because I don't like, you know, has anyone seen the new trailer for the Batman, the one with like Robert Pattinson and
I saw some of it.
Yeah, so you know that excitement was like, yo, this looks cool. And yeah, exactly, Tim, it looks mad, doesn't it? Like it looks mad. It's like that kind of excitement is like, yeah, exactly, yeah. So it's like, you know, you're getting gassed off of something that's coming out yet, but like these characters are in comic book form anyway, so you can do your homework on that. I guess character wise, biggest inspiration is Storm. She's my favorite character. I've got a tattoo of her.
Yeah.
Yes, Hanifa, yes. Like she's just woo. Like, I'm sorry, the movies have done her dirty. I'm not about to go
they
into
did.
like
They really did.
I mean
I mean, I'm not as big into comic books as maybe you, but I have dabbled and I agree.
Mate,
so, yeah.
Honestly, like the disrespect, but like that's another talk for another time, because I could go into it and boy, but Yeah, Storm is my favorite, but like I'm not like prescribed to like only Marvel. Like there's like Sable, which is another really good kind of comic story that's like ongoing. Obviously DC have got some cool stuff. I'm not like, yes, yes, I do like Marvel, but I'm not like a Marvel only head, and I'm not one of those people that's like, oh, you haven't seen Iron Man, well, what are you doing? I'm not one of those people, because that's just lame. Like, no, if you don't know, you don't know, it's fine. But say nerd wise, that's my big inspiration. The future of turntablism, more people doing weird shit. Like there's Maria Chavez, there's Shiva Fashirecki, there's Mariam Rezai, all amazing women doing cool shit in turntablism. So more of that, and more women of color doing it, more trans people, more non-binary people doing it, by all means. And like I said before, like, you know, a leveling out of appreciation of artists across the board, not just if you're doing certain things. Because, you know, I'm guessing people have heard of like the DMCs and stuff, which are like a yearly turntablism competition. You know, once upon a time I wanted to enter into that, and now I'm like, I don't really want to. But it's like, it's very male centric, and while I think it is still being run by a woman, a lot of the people that are entered in there are men, and it's very like, I think Marianne was telling me a story of how she entered one year, and the person who she was up against had like a lot of vocal samples calling their opponent, which was her at the time, a bitch, and all of these things. And it was like, if this was meant to be fun, this isn't now, because you've made the conscious decision to call me a bitch in this competition when it's meant to be supportive and all of these things. Plus, like, you know, like if I was to enter, I would do some weird shit. I would do stuff like scratch bird noise or whatever and just create something completely different. I wouldn't necessarily be like, yeah, I'm gonna scratch on this and, you know, Star Wars sample and whatever. Like, I wouldn't really do that. So it's just, I feel like, and I've been in forums where I've said, well, you know, why not we try and be a bit more inclusive of people that want to do different things in the DMCs, for example. And I've been met with, let's say, passive aggressiveness from men. And it's like, okay. So just more acceptance of all of the ways turntablism can show up, and more representation of that.
Okay, and
it does indeed, Derek. Gatekeeping does suck. I fully agree.
Gatekeeping is everywhere, and it really needs to stop. What do you feel are the next steps for your artistic practice, and what new things are you trying out and want to get into?
Yes, to gatekeeping sucking. Again, that's another talk for another time. Next steps. I really want to work with. Oh yes, sorry. Whose question is this? Who did this question? Is it Kai? Yeah, big ups, Kai. What do I feel for the next steps in my practice? I want to work with an orchestra. I really want to do that. I want to develop the surround sound stuff I've been doing. I want to do stuff like a boiler room set, but like a weird one. I want to, you know, do some more gigs. Like, I'm based in Leeds, right? And I've only done I've done 2 performances in London, even though I'm from there. So it's interesting to come back to London and perform stuff. So more of that. And new things I'm trying out, Ableton. Like I really respect how powerful of a tool it is. So, and I know I'm only scratching the surface, so I'm really excited to get into that more. And yeah, just do more weird shit. Like, I just want to, you know, dive into doing more of this weird stuff that I do. And, you know, have that permeate through these like stupid gatekeepers and have it be like, oh, you know what? Yeah, that's cool, you know, because I feel like, you know, like I do so much, so, you know, slide me my check, you know. you know what I mean? Like, just I do a lot, man. So come on. And also like develop events too, like, you know, with the Dub Sirens and the Melanin, because the radio show Melanin came out of me doing a night in Leeds with like just all Black DJs, and we just played whatever we wanted. And it was so much fun. So, you know, developing those events. Dub Sirens is essentially like dubstep, jungle, drum and bass, footwork, but all the DJs just happen to be female. And there's no like female only thing. It's literally just like, here is the DJ, here's their bio, come through, you know. And I want to develop that. So yeah, loads of stuff. That's not necessarily artistic practice, but they're all linked in some way. But yeah, definitely working with an orchestra and just doing more weird shit. Thank you for your question.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for answering all of our questions. I'm sure there'll be more questions, but I'll shut up now. Thank you. You're already funny.
Thank you, Hanifa. Thank you for everybody that contributed to the PowerPoint. I've never had a PowerPoint of questions delivered to me, so shout out to you lot. That's a first right there. Big ups.
Brilliant. That was really excellent. Thank you, Hanifa, for the delivering of the questions, and thank you to the rest of the group for a really brilliant set of questions. We'll try and have to leave more time in the future. I think last week, yeah, there wasn't quite enough time for all the questions, so I'm glad we got through. Does anyone from the audience have any questions? Eleanor, I saw you had one midway about remixing. I don't know if you wanted to ask that one on the mic, or I can ask it for you.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. It was just what's your like favorite approach to remixing?
Favorite approach. Also, hello.
Hi.
Hi. Favorite. I don't really have a favorite approach. It's mainly. Another question. I'll answer that in a sec. It's mainly, you know, just having a listen to. It's more my process really. Like I'll listen to the track and see if anything jumps out to me in that moment. Like, oh, I'm gonna do this. So with the Hiatus Coyote one, it was kind of like, well, for one, I've always wanted to remix them anyway. So I was kind of like, what's the vibe? And I know of Get Sun. I don't know if everyone here has heard of that, the original version of that song. You typed another question. I'm not sure, like, sorry. If you haven't heard the original version of Get Sun, please do listen to that. But like, I feel like the process overall is just kind of listening to the song and just seeing what comes through in my head. I've done a remix for an artist called Rosie T, who's based in Birmingham. And she very kindly said, you know, I can choose what track to remix and all of this stuff. And I was like, okay, well, you know, I picked the track, and then immediately what screamed out to me was jungle. So I was like, oh yeah, let's just, you know, amen break and just go in on it. So I did one version, and I was like, okay, I want to hear from her, you know, what she thinks of it before I do anything else. So I sent it to her, and she was like, this sounds cool. I was kind of hoping for something that's a bit more chill, not so like jump up and crazy, you know. And I was like, okay, cool. Like, I want to make sure that she's happy with it as well as me. I don't want to just do a remix and be like, that's it, I'm not going to go back and change anything. So, you know, took that on board and, you know, reworked it and sent her another version, which again, that I was happy with, but I wanted to make sure that she was cool with it. Sent her that, and she was like, yeah, this is, oh my God, thank you. It was like, okay, cool. Like, you know, and I feel like having that communication, especially when somebody's asked you to, you know, and sent you their stems and stuff, having that communication to be like, you know, this is where I'm going with it. Is this, you know, what you were thinking? Like, are you vibing this or not? And, you know, and having space to be open to their suggestions and ideas and being like, okay, well, if I can do that and I'm still enjoying this process too, cool. You know, so yes, stay tuned for when that'll be released. But it's kind of, so yeah, like when it's like entering a remix competition and I'm just, you know, putting together an idea with these stems, it like with the Hiatus Coyote tune, for example, then it's like, oh yeah, let's just see what happens. And, you know, I end up making something that was a dubstep-esque. But then when somebody's asked me directly, then it's like, okay, let's have a conversation about this as well to make sure that everybody's happy with it. Well, that makes sense. And I think you typed, Eleanor, I think you typed a question. What format do I use? Format, as in what, DAW?
Sorry, like as in software, like do you use Logic or like what do you use to remix?
Right, yeah, I use Logic. Yeah, I use Logic for that.
Thank you.
Thanks, Eleanor. So we've got a quick question from Chia. What headphones do you use for mixing?
I use these.
That question.
That's a good question. What are these? These are AKG. Hold on. K24. Wait, hang on. Let me just read the thing. Hold on. K240 MK2. I use these. They're very balanced. They're really good. And you know, I use these, but I also will reference my mixes or whenever I've mastered stuff. I should say as well, actually, like all of the stuff that I've played, that I've made today, I've mixed and mastered myself. So whenever I do that, like primarily it's on these headphones, but I'll also reference them on like my speakers. I'll play them on my phone or just as many places as possible to make sure I'm okay with it personally before sending it to anywhere else. So yeah, I think the only tune that I haven't mastered was the Timeline one from Mixmag, because the label have their own person that does that for them, but like I did the pre-master and then they did their thing. But like, yeah, so for the most part, I do mix and master my stuff. Yeah. Don't know why I had to think that. Yes, I do that. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, so I think we're on Derek. Derek, what are your thoughts on online crate digging versus actual physical crate digging?
Ooh, very good question, Derek. Both are cool. Both are cool. Like, you know, you can find some exclusive stuff online. You can find some exclusive stuff in a shop, in a charity shop. You know, but both are legit. I think so especially over this last year, because obviously everybody was in their houses, online digging became even more of a thing than it has been before, and that's fine. I don't you know, I don't really like prescribe to one or the other. Like I'll do both. So, you know, and I feel like especially with like Bandcamp Friday and being able to support artists more directly on those days as well, that obviously plays a part too. And when I'm talking about crate digging, like that's also like just on MP3s or like WAVs or whatever, as well as like getting a physical bit of vinyl or CD or whatever and tape. So I think both are fine in my eyes. You do what you're able to do. Some people aren't able to, you know, go into a shop. Like it could be because of like, you know, anxiety of being around people. It could be because they just literally physically can't get into a shop. So they'll rely on Bandcamp or other such shops to like online places to get it delivered to them. And that's fine. You know, I think it's down to the person. I don't like when people are like, oh, if you don't go to the record shop, I don't know why I'm putting on this voice, but fuck it. Like, oh, if you don't go into a record shop to get these, then you're not a real crate digger. Shut up. Like, look, if I'm able to like develop my own taste of music and I'm able to collect and support the artist and get music that I really enjoy, then who gives a shit where I got it from? Like, so what? That's my take anyway. Word. Yes, Derek, exactly. So yeah, that's that's my take on it.
Excellent. Tim's question is, how TF did you manage to support Madlib?
You're welcome, Derek. And yes, how indeed, mate. I don't. Oh man. Okay, so that was, when was that? That was 2019, I think. Yeah. So at this point, I'm doing a lot of gigs. I'm still doing my masters up in Leeds, and I'm just even more of a crazy person than I am now. And the promoters got in touch. I think they sent me an email and were like, yo, would you like to I should really print out the email and frame it, to be honest. Like, yo, would you like to support Madlib on whatever day it was? Was like, what? Okay, third F-bomb. What the fuck? Like, I was literally like, this is a madness. Are you what? And I lost my shit, and I couldn't even talk. I mean, I'm glad I could make y'all laugh. Thank you. Yes. I lost my shit. I was really like, no, who, what? So yeah. It was a madness. So I couldn't even announce it yet. I had to just sit on that before they then announced it. And I was like, fuck's sake, I want to tell everybody. So when I was finally allowed to announce it, pals of mine also lost their shit. Even some friends from Leicester came up and were like, yo, we're coming up because this is mad, this is big. I'm like, okay, thank you. And oh man, that whole night was just so much fun. I can confirm Madlib is one of the nicest people you could possibly imagine. Like, a mate of mine, actually, D-Man. So the lineup was D-Man, me, or I guess, yeah, the order of the sets. D-Man, me, Madlib's kind of DJ / really good friend, Egon, then Madlib, and then Awesome Tapes from Africa was on afters. And Egon, yeah, man. Oh, no worries, Kai. Thank you for coming, pal. So like, I was on before, so I'm there like, what the fuck? So then I get, fourth, I'm gonna stop counting. So then I get to the venue, and D-Man is a huge fan of Madlib. Like, he damn near has got every single record that he's put out. So obviously D-Man is gassed. He does his set, and you know, I'm filming him on stage like, yes, pal, and just we're all gassed. And then I go on to do my set, and I'm like, and I normally don't get nervous. Like, I'm excited more than nervous, but you know, palms are sweaty, mum spaghetti, all of that. So okay, well, let's just get on with it. I have an hour, let's do this. And I just played, I scratched, I had so much fun. I'm really short, so the decks were spread quite far apart, and I had to stand on flight cases. So I was quite like, and it just over there like, but it was just so much fun. And then like afterwards, and I recorded the set, it's on my Mixcloud if you want to listen back. But like afterwards, like Egon comes up and he's like, that was a fantastic set, and he says it on the mic too, and everyone cheers. I'm just like, thank you. Oh shit. And then yeah, I come off stage, and Madlib is backstage, and he was like, yeah, that was a dope set. I'm like, what? Thank you. That's thank you. I love your music. I'm trying to hold it down, but I'm not. I'm pretty sure I failed to hold it down at that point because I was just gassed. And thank you, Derek. Thank you, man. And yeah, D-Man got a Quasimodo vinyl signed by him, and we took a picture with him. Madlib is cuddly as fuck. He's so sweet. And then yeah, also met Awesome Tapes from Africa, and yeah, we got a picture taken together as well too. And it was just all around just such a fun night. It was so much fun. And yeah, I still can't believe that happened. Like, it was one of those moments you were like, oh shit, that did happen. That wasn't a dream. right, this is one of those moments. Yeah.
Thank you for that excellent story. I think we all enjoyed reliving those moments with you. Okay, we're in the final kind of 5 minutes. I don't know if anyone else wants to ask a question, or I was thinking you could select a track to play us out on. You've been working very hard, you've been talking non-stop and giving all these brilliant answers to these equally brilliant questions. So any final questions for Nicole? I don't know if you
yeah, we can, yeah, any final questions? I want to make sure, you know, everybody who wants to ask something has done. So yeah.
Exactly. You're doing okay for time for once. And if not, I don't know if you have anything, or I was quite curious to hear your TC in the Groove family, because you talked about it as being the first time you've been in a band.
Yeah, I can definitely play that. But while I find that, you know,
someone else might have a request. Ben has just written this to me, so I'm just gonna post it back in the chat.
Okay.
Easy to direct message people by mistake on Zoom.
Oh, you're welcome, Ben. Yeah, honestly, Klaus Tusk, amazing. Like, it really blew my mind when I found that. Like, what? But yeah, if there's any, honestly, one last question, something burning that you want to find out, feel free.
One question, they're going to me, I think, because I'm.
Are they going to you? Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't know, by mistake. That's from Juice.
Could you share the video link on your?
Does that make sense to you?
Not sure what you mean by that. Tommy Cash. I spoke to Tommy Cash very briefly. This was at the International Festival. I spoke to him very briefly. His manager is very rude. Like, so I was trying to like pack down before my RIP. His manager's rude. From what I could gather, Tommy himself is lovely, but his manager is rude. I was trying to pack down before Tommy's set because I had to go from that venue to another venue to play at the after party. So I was trying to pack down as quickly as I could, but his manager wouldn't let me go back on stage because it was like, no, it's Tommy's time now. I'm like, no, I get that. You know, I'm just saying, like, Tommy hasn't started yet. There's enough time for me to just get the rest of my equipment and just head off, but you're not letting me. And he just wouldn't let me. So I was like, right. So as to say to the organizers, right, Tommy's manager's being a dick. Can you just can you collect my stuff? Like, it's all unplugged. All I needed to do was just run on stage, pick it up, and then go to it. But he wouldn't let me. So I was like, all right, bon you then, organizers, can you just pick up my stuff and bring that to the next venue, and I'll meet you there because I can't get on stage and he's not letting me. And they were like, yeah, no problem. So yeah, can confirm Eve's tumor is lovely as fuck. Fifth F-bomb, sorry. But yeah, can confirm Eve's tumor is lovely.
Okay, I've asked you to clarify the INS videos on the slides.
The Instagram videos. Oh,
Instagram.
Can I share the? So they were on their stories. So they're not like Instagram posts. I managed to, because you know when somebody tags you on Instagram and then you can download the video. That's what I did. They're not posted out. I mean, I don't know if Thursday have like saved that video on their profile. I don't know, but it was on their stories, so I don't think it's like accessible like an Instagram post is, if that makes sense. But yeah, I'm sorry, Juice. All right, I'll play a little bit of TC if that's all of the questions. But also, you know, feel free to, you can, you know, I am on social media. Feel free to do, you know, with that information what you will. But you know, if you have any other questions, you can ask me on social media. That's fine. You know, but I'm not about to be like, oh, you can follow me on these platforms. It can't be asked. But like, I am about. So
That voice is excellent. But maybe before we play out on that, I'll just say thank you, Nicole. It was so great to have you. I really overused the word inspiring, inspirational, but it was just such a diverse range of stuff you've done, and you've always done it in your own way with your own energy, and it's also just been hilarious, all your little jokes running through. But yeah, amazing to kind of hear how much you've achieved, and mind-blowing, and hopefully will give the students here something something to work towards in whatever way or shape or form that takes for everyone.
You're very welcome. Thank you for having me. Thank you for allowing me to swear. I think a few people have said that I should go into comedy and be a comedian, and I'm like, well, I'm not saying no, but also
definitely not a bad option.
I mean, I don't know, maybe we'll see. But I'm glad I could make everybody laugh and stuff. So you're very welcome. Yeah, kind of feel like you're funny. Oh, thank you. Right. So this is the band that I'm in called TC. We have music coming out next year. Shameful plug. Again, do with that information what you will. But yeah, this is us, and I'm gonna shut up now. But thank you for having me. And yeah, if there's a chance for me to come down to London and do this in person, and chat shit in person, then you can holler at me, and I'll do my best to come down and do that. But I'm gonna shut up now because this is TC. But yeah, thanks again.
See much deeper, be a queen from Medina, my bonita. Told me that she love me long time, never leave her. Never put money over love, and I believe that. Rendezvous nightly when I see her in the moonlight. Yeah, music. She be the one that's enough. She be my usual drug. Music. She be the one that's enough. She be my usual drug. Music. She be the one that's enough. She be my usual drug. Music. She be the one. Music. She be the one that's enough. She be my usual drug. She be the one that's enough. She be my usual drug. She be the one that's enough. She be my usual drug. She be the one that's enough. She be the one that's enough. She be my usual drug. She be the one that's enough. She be my usual drug. She be the one that's enough. She be my usual drug.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Thank you so much. All right, take care, everyone. See you next week for Asastania's talk. And thank you again, Nicole, for bringing your wonderful self here. See you
Thanks
soon.
for having me. Big ups, everybody. Thanks again. Bye.